Okay, this is week 9, Fine Arts. This week we'll be working on musical symbols, rhythm, and some left hand tin whistle exercises. So we'll be reviewing vocabulary from last week. If you did not make it to page 2 and 3 in your book last week, make sure you go over this. We can't really move on until they have at least seen this. And I know I've heard this in practicums and stuff. The idea is exposure. We're exposing children to music. They're by no means going to understand all of this by the time they leave our class if this is the first time they're seeing it. But you'll be surprised how much they're picking up year by year. So if they look overwhelmed, our parents are huge wide eyes. Just assure them it's okay. We're just exposing you to it, and you'll get it as you get older and stuff like that, as you're exposed to it. So make sure you go over page 2 if you haven't, and go over this with them. This was really helpful to me because I didn't know how to play the tin whistle until classical conversations, that we can remember the note names on the tin whistle by B-A-G-F-E-D. A horse is bag fed, and we can just kind of spend a minute to go over it. This is B, this is A, this is G, for kids who know how to spell. That'll be helpful. For the littles, sorry, not helpful at all. B-A-G-F-E-D. So maybe have them do that 10 times. B-A-G-F-E-D, B-A-G-F-E-D. And I think that will really help them remember as they're moving along. So make sure you go over that to start off with week 8. And then this week we are, of course, reviewing our vocabulary. So you'll have your vocabulary words. You might want to put them up beforehand and have them run to cacophony, and everyone run to it and then tell you what it means. Or you could say, somewhere hanging in the room is a word that means an unpleasant sound made by a group of musical notes that don't go together. What is that? And then they'll have to run to Discord. So you can do it both the word and the definition and have them go to it. If that's too crazy in your room or in your space, that's not a safe or good idea. You can also just have them walk with you to it and then talk about it. We did that some when our guys got crazy a little bit last year. Like, we're all going to walk over to this word over here. We're going to talk about it just to get them up and moving around a little bit when we're reviewing for vocabulary. But they usually like the games where they can run to it, and that's kind of fun. This week, we're going to be going over the note values. So each note has a value, and based on how it's written on our staff, which we're going to get to in just a little bit, it's going to tell you what kind of note it is, how many beats it keeps. So a whole note is shown right here. It looks like an oval or head. It keeps 4 beats in 4/4 time. And so this changes depending on what your time signature is, but for our purposes today, it's 4/4 time. So we could say a whole note, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how long you hold it. I'll just go through these really fast. A half note, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that each get half of those 4 beats. Does that make sense? And a quarter note just gets 1 beat, and an eighth note gets half a beat. That's right here. They have a little flag on them. So you'll go over those values, and you'll kind of maybe do, show them a piece of music in the back here on page, let's say 13, 14, or 15, and say, can you point to a whole note? Can you point to a half note, quarter note, that kind of thing? And it says you can have them circle it, or you can just have them circle with their fingers too if you don't want them to mark up the books. Then maybe take a little break and let them play their tin whistle, because by now they're going to be dying. They want to play their tin whistle so bad. Okay, so everybody pick up your tin whistle, and we are just all going to play a B, because remember from last week, B-A-G-F-E-D. So okay, let's all play a B. Okay, and then you can do that as well while you're reviewing vocabulary and talk about cacophony and discord and harmony and symphony as well again. So then we're going to go into the treble clef and the bass clef and our note names. And each of you will have a staff that looks like this. And you may just want to have this hanging up in your classroom before class starts. And go ahead and tape on the notes in order. And Rachel is amazing, and she gave us a cheat sheet. So this is in your bag as well, so you can look and hang these up beforehand within the place where they go. Some are on lines, some are on spaces, so you can use Scotch tape to put these on. These are laminated, and this is plastic. So just Scotch tape them on there where they go so that you can talk about it. It's a larger visual for the kids, so I think it will be helpful to see it on the big staff as well. So have that up beforehand, and talk about the different notes and where they go on the line. So there's some little story to help you remember where they go. So, for instance, when the note is on the line, every good boy does fine. When the note is on the space, it spells face. So you can go over that rhyme and have them say it a few times and show them on your big staff as well. Then maybe have them play again. And there are some links on here if you want to show them as well. Some YouTube videos that you can feel free to show them as well. I don't think we'll really have time.
You can also send those home with your parents.
Yes.
And let them watch it at home.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Put it in your letter if you send one, or just say, hey, I have these and I'll send those out later. And then you're going to review again, and that's going to be a lot of talking and a lot of, so we're going to get into the tin whistle then. So you're going to review your conducting positions. Remember, we have resting position, which is in bed, chin position, mouth position, and playing. That's when your hands are ready. So we'll go over those, and you're also I forgot to mention this in week 7, it's really important. As the conductor, you need to make a signal for them when to stop. So you may do this means go and this means stop. Or if you may just drop your hands, but a conductor closes their hands like this. So you might want to do they're playing, they watch you and stop. And you're going to need to practice that. And so playing, stop. So as a conductor, you'll kind of go over that. The next thing you're going to do is your left hand exercises, and that is on page 4, which says right here in your notes. So you're just going to go right through the script, and you're going to practice playing this with them. Maybe for the littles, if you can do the first 3 notes, that would be, yay, a victory. So just don't try to take too much. It's better that they understand what they're doing and can move their fingers. Again, you're going to probably put the sticker on their left hand so they'll know that the left hand goes on top. Review the BAGFED and how to hold it, and for the littles, just holding it is going to be hard enough. But for the bigs who've done this before, they'll be ready for the left hand and exercises for sure. And once they get this down individually, you might have them like, let's try to play this together. So for the older ones, really try to challenge them. If they know how to do this, say, okay, maybe we can play this. Let's see if we can do it without anyone squeaking this time. That would be a good goal for them. And remember to not blow too hard and to cover the holes completely if you've got a squeaker in your class. And that is pretty much all for week 8. Am I forgetting anything else?
The only thing I would say is just make sure that the tutors take home these booklets. These do not go home.
Okay, we will probably amend our first video, but these go home with you. These are not for the kids to take home. So they can write their name on the top the first day, but you're going to keep these with you the whole 6 weeks, and they'll be in their folder at the end of the year.